A WRAL Weather Alert Day continues until 10 o'clock this morning as we continue to monitor slick spots. We'll show you the trouble spots we're seeing and when we expect improvement coming up.
And Chris, speaking of trouble spot, this is one trouble spot that happened earlier this morning. This crash on I-85 in the southbound lane. It's cleared right now, but that's indicative of how busy it's been on the roads this morning. I'll be tracking your morning commute coming up.
And MLK Day in the Triangle. We're tracking all the different events to honor Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. today. WRAL News at 8 starts in less than 30 seconds.
At Leith Honda in Raleigh and Auto Park Honda in Cary, we make your buying process easy. And with every new car purchase, you'll enjoy complimentary oil changes and exceptional service. It's no wonder we've earned so many 5-star reviews. You'll also get peace of mind pricing with every used vehicle, and if it's not the perfect fit, no problem. Bring it back within 3 days for an easy exchange. Visit our showroom at Auto Park Honda in Cary or Leith Honda in Raleigh. It's easier here.
It's 8 a.m. on your Monday, and happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day. As many people are sticking at home and enjoying the heat indoors, that is a good thing because we are seeing some icy conditions because of that refreezing that happened overnight. So let's get right over to meteorologist Chris Michaels on this alert day. Chris.
Yeah, got to have that sun going to work, and it'll do so over the next 2 hours. But yeah, it's a cold start. And Ken and I have been showing you some of those elevated surfaces like bridges all throughout the morning because those are the ones that are going to be a little slicker than other spots. Reason for that, I mean, it sounds like common sense, but you've got cold air that's flowing both beneath and above that bridge surface. So anything that was wet last night does turn slick. And we actually did have video earlier in the morning of a truck that was kind of fishtailing because of the Falls Lake Bridge on I-85. If you see anything like that, when it's safe to do so, you can submit your report to WRAL.com/report-it. Meanwhile, taking the dog for a walk after 10 a.m., things will climb above freezing. We'll see high temperatures near 50 degrees today. And then out the door tomorrow morning, a very cold return to the office. Temperatures teens and low 20s. Ken?
All right, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center because of the busy morning we've had out on the roadways. We do have a crew out right now. Monica Casey, photographer Vinny Burconfuco giving you an idea of what these major roadways look like this morning. So where are you now, and set the scene for us?
Hey Ken, we have been all over this morning. As you can probably see, the sun is coming out now, which is good news for the issue of ice on the roads. Let me spin this around. We've been driving through downtown Raleigh most recently this morning to take a look at some of those roads running through that area. We have not come across any issues there, but we had a lot of issues on major roads this morning, especially in Durham over on I-85 southbound. There was a major crash involving at least 3 vehicles, and even over on the northbound side we saw a truck fishtailing all over the road. We also came across another crash over on 885 where it split with 147 in Durham. We saw what looked to be a law enforcement vehicle being towed away from that area, and a state trooper was clearing that scene. That crash involved at least 1 other car. So these issues are widespread in our area. You need to make sure you are taking it slow this morning, especially on elevated surfaces like bridges.
Oh, Monica, that's such a good reminder this morning as we take a live look at I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road. You know, it's a holiday, very light traffic to report right now. Those are the westbound lanes moving away from us. So traffic really flowing at a nice steady clip in all of our major routes heading into the Raleigh-Wake County area. I-40 eastbound, US 1 north coming in out of Apex, I-87 coming in out of Nightdale. Just a 1-minute delay if you're coming in from Wake Forest this morning. We talked a lot about Durham this morning. So those major routes, we're not seeing any delays whatsoever. Short of a 1-minute delay if you're using Highway 98 to get to Wake Forest into Durham. But other than that, all the other major routes are delay-free into the Bull City right now. You're getting ready to head into the car. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Ken, thank you. And police say a person died because of a crash on I-40 near US 1. This is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker from around 1:30 this morning. Police say 2 cars were involved in this crash. The road was closed, but now is back open. In Fayetteville, one person is dead, another in the hospital after a shooting. This is video from Tangora Lane near McDougal Drive. Police say they found two people suffering from gunshot wounds just after midnight. One person was pronounced dead at the scene. The other person taken to the hospital. That person is expected to be okay. At last check, no arrests have been made, but police say there's no threat to the public. And we are trying to learn more information about a police investigation at the Walmart in Fuquay-Varina. This is video from the scene from about 2:30 this morning. We saw several police cars in the parking lot and officers out searching the area. We have reached out to police to try to figure out exactly what happened. There are multiple events planned across our area today to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., including in Durham. Observances will start this morning with a community march through downtown Durham. That gets started at 10:30 at the Tower at Mutual Plaza. There will also be a religious service tonight at Orange Grove Missionary Baptist Church on East End Avenue. That starts at 6 p.m. The volunteers will be out across the Triangle today as well. The nonprofit Rise Against Hunger will be honoring Martin Luther King Jr. Day by packaging meals for people facing food insecurity. The organization aims to package more than 190,000 meals across 2 different locations. The events will be at the Marbles Kids Museum and the Rise Against Hunger warehouse in Raleigh. Both of those events will be from 9 until 4 p.m. A full list of MLK Day events can be found on our website at WRAL.com. And happening right now, the annual Martin Luther King Jr. Triangle Interfaith Prayer Breakfast is happening at the Sheraton Imperial Hotel in RTP. Here, take a live look and look at the crowds there. WRAL and Capital Broadcasting are proud presenting sponsors, and WRAL's Gerald Owens is there hosting. You can watch it live right now on WRAL.com. The Buddhist monks walking for peace will be back in the Triangle, or be back in the Triangle for the first time, that is, later this week. Yesterday, they were in Lexington giving peace sharing talks and eating lunch at a local church. It marked the 85th day of their 2,300-mile journey. They are walking to promote national healing, unity, and compassion. Their walk for peace began in Texas and will end in D.C. Last night, the Lexington Cambodian Community Center provided them with meals as they met with the public. The monks rested there overnight, and they will walk through other parts of the Triad today and Tuesday. WRAL will keep you informed of their route, arrival times, and any public events. You can keep up to date right here on WRAL News and on all of our digital platforms. The Pentagon is putting some active duty troops on standby. This is after President Donald Trump threatened to invoke the Insurrection Act in response to protests in Minneapolis. About 1,500 troops have been given prepare to deploy orders. Protests have escalated in Minneapolis after Renee Good was shot and killed by an ICE agent earlier this month. This was also led to protests against immigration operations across the country and in the Triangle. On Meet the Press yesterday, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry says crime is down in his city.
To those that are paying attention, you got to understand how wild this is right now. In Minneapolis, crime is dramatically down. We don't need more federal agents to keep people safe. We are safe. Violent crime is down. Shootings are down. Carjackings are down in virtually every category and virtually every neighborhood in the city.
Data shows Minneapolis has seen an uptick in assaults on officers and motor vehicle thefts. Minnesota officials have mobilized the National Guard in the meantime. State National Guard officials say troops will help protect life, preserve property, and support the rights of people in Minnesota. As the president weighs deploying troops, protesters were outside the federal Whipple building in Minneapolis throughout the weekend. This facility has been serving as the local headquarters for immigration officials. On Saturday, ICE said 4 people were arrested and booked on federal charges. ICE says the protesters refused to disperse and accused them of throwing objects and pouring water on the roads to create hazardous conditions. We now have a major update in the case of 2 brothers who were killed at a Fayetteville restaurant earlier this month. Police now say no charges will be filed in the shooting deaths of Daniel and Timothy Nakamoto. They were killed during a fight at Mac's Speed Shop on North McPherson Church Road on January 3rd. Police say forensic evidence, witness statements, and video surveillance show the person who fired the gun acted in lawful self-defense. Police did consult with the Cumberland County County DA's office about the case. The identity of the person who fired the gun is not being released because that person won't face criminal charges. The investigation is now considered closed. A nail-biter of a finish in Chicago now. The Bears and LA Rams battled the frigid temps at Soldier Field. The two sides got to play extra football after Caleb Williams helped the Bears force overtime, finding the end zone with less than 30 seconds. The Rams got to work right after, marching down the field in overtime and winning on a field goal. 20-17 was the final. The Rams are heading to the NFC Championship game. And the New England Patriots are heading to the AFC Championship game for the first time since 2019. The Patriots beat the Houston Texans at home thanks to a strong performance from former UNC quarterback Drake May. May threw for 3 touchdowns in the 28-16 win. The conference championship games are now set, and the Patriots will head to Denver on Sunday to play the Broncos. Kickoff for that game is set for 3 p.m. In the NFC, the Seahawks will host the Rams in Seattle. Kickoff for that game is on Sunday at 6:30, and you can watch that game right here on Fox 50. Your time now is 8:10. Budget battle. What questions state lawmakers will face when they return to Raleigh as they work without a budget? And Isaiah Ross trial. Testimony resumes in the double murder trial this week. What we can expect when everyone comes back after the holiday.
And as the sun rises this morning, you might just need an extra minute or two to get some ice off the windshield. So budget that into your morning plans. We'll show you when we get even colder, what's the cause of that, and if there will be any other slick spots the next few mornings. .14, in case you're just getting up, here's what's new this morning. Precipitation long gone. We've got a lot of sunshine out there, but temperatures running in the 20s, so still some slick spots early on this Martin Luther King Day. Roxborough, Oxford, and Henderson at 21, South Hill 23, Rocky Mount, Roanoke Rapids, and Wilson at 26 so far this morning. Not much of a difference as you head farther to the south. Smithfield and Selma are at 25 degrees, Fayetteville's at 28, and Sanford right now at 22. Once we get beyond 10 a.m., temperatures will climb above freezing. We'll be around 40 by midday, with temperatures near 50 heading into the afternoon. It's back to the office, back to school heading into tomorrow. I'll show you how those temperatures differ from today and when we see another shot of wintry weather coming up. Ken? All
right, happening now. We've got a troubled spot brewing at I-885, those southbound lane, right near the I-40 interchange, just before you get onto those I-40 eastbound lanes. We're trying to figure out exactly what's going on. And this might be just morning congestion, right? Because right now we're not seeing any delays because it's starting to clear up just a little bit. So that's really good news. When I checked it about 15 minutes ago, it was looking at an 8-minute delay. So good news there to report. As far as other routes coming into Durham right now, short of a 1-minute delay. If you're using Highway 98 to get to from Wake Forest to Durham, just a 1-minute delay. All the other routes are delay-free at this hour.
Okay, Ken, thank you. At least 18 people are dead as forest fires sweep through central and southern Chile. The country's president has declared a state of catastrophe in the affected regions. You can see some of the extensive damage here. The fires have burned 21,000 acres and destroyed hundreds of buildings and homes. The death toll from the fires could rise as crews and first responders start making their way through the region. Former U.S. Senator Kyrsten Sinema dealt with hecklers over the weekend in Utah, just days after we learned that a Moore County woman was suing her for allegedly having an affair with her husband. Take a listen.
I'm happy to call her my lover.
My wife is leaving me because of you. She's taking the kids.
Sinema was on stage with Utah Governor Spencer Cox at an economic summit in Salt Lake City. Two men, interrupting less than 5 minutes apart, shouted accusations referencing the alienation of affection lawsuit involving her. Cox called the outburst a sign of today's divided climate. Sinema briefly acknowledged the disruption and continued with her remarks. Looking ahead now, an Orange County double murder trial will resume tomorrow in Hillsborough. Courts is closed today, of course, for the holiday. Isaiah Ross is accused of killing 14-year-old Lyric Woods and 18-year-old Devin Clark in 2022. The court recessed Friday without testimony after one of the attorneys had a family emergency. The judge told the jury they had already expected this case to extend into this week. When court resumes, the prosecution will continue making their case. The defense will still get a chance to call all of their own witnesses to make their case, too. There are MLK Day events all over the area to tell you about now. The Cultural Arts of Society of Fuquay Varina is hosting its annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. celebration. There will be a march this morning starting at Falcon Park and ending at First Baptist Church of Fuquay Varina. That's on Northwest Street. The march will start at 9 and ends at the celebration at the church that's happening right after. The town of Knightdale is also hosting an event to honor Dr. King's legacy. That event will be at First and Main on North First Avenue and is in partnership with the Chi Rho Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. There will also be a food donation drive at the event. The service starts at 2 p.m. Celebrations of the life and legacy of Dr. King started early across the Triangle. The Garner community gathered last night for the town's 15th annual Martin Luther King Jr. celebration. It was at the Garner Performing Arts Center. This year's theme was Mission Possible, Building Community, Uniting a Nation. The event included remarks from Congresswoman Deborah Ross and a video tribute to the celebration's co-founders, former Garner Mayor Ronnie Williams and community activist Helen Phillips. Musical selections from Restoration Community Choir was also featured. Organizers say they are proud of the community's ongoing dedication to honoring King's legacy.
I think it's been 58 years since he was killed. Things sort of flicker and fade and don't have the same significance. And so especially like for me, having these young high school students speak is really important to keep the dream alive. And the dream should be alive because we all need a dream.
We all need a dream. The Unity March, typically planned before yesterday's celebration, was canceled because of the rain. Well, happening today, a boys and girls volleyball tournament continues at the Raleigh Convention Center. The City of Oaks Challenge is a yearly event over the MLK Jr. weekend, attracting more than 250 teams from across the East Coast. It's happening a month and a half after that fire damaged the building's roof and HVAC system. The convention center reopened last week as crews make repairs and progress on those repairs. Well, license plates for a cause. More than $500,000 was raised in North Carolina for the Blue Ridge Parkway. The plate program is an initiative in North Carolina and Virginia. The Blue Ridge Parkway Foundation earns $20 for every new or renewed specialty license plate. Well, we are here in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with Chris, and I mean, some places seeing snow, including Florida yesterday.
You know, you and I were working together, and I was like, hold on just a second.
Right.
And yeah, there it is, yesterday morning. Let's go ahead and show you this video of the Florida Panhandle there on I-10. This looks like it was near Walton County, if you're familiar with the area. They got a light dusting of snow, and then as soon as it fell, it melted, but still pretty cool to see there. For the second straight year, by the way, they saw measurable snow in the Florida Panhandle. Hey, that's more than we've seen in parts of our area, including the Sandhills. Raleigh has measured about 0.2 of an inch of snow so far this winter. You can see things looking pretty frosty and icy outside in Zebulon, but at crystal clear sky, the sunshine going to work and eventually boosting our temperatures above freezing. But it'll take another couple hours. Raleigh and Durham at 25, Wilson, Roanoke Rapids, Rocky Mount 26, Goldsboro and Fayetteville in the upper 20s. So most interstates are in good shape. It's just the off and on ramps and bridges that you need to watch out for, and some shady spots on side roads. Other surfaces, we're talking about your driveways, your sidewalks, your parking lots, decks and porches. Things like that are a little bit icier. So if you're looking to exercise, I would take it to the gym. If your gym is open today, I think that's probably your best bet, at least for the next couple of hours. And by midday, temperatures in the upper 30s and lower 40s, and high temperatures today looking like this, with Raleigh, Benson at 49, Lewisburg 48, Fayetteville 51, Roanoke Rapids at about 46. Heading back to the office first thing tomorrow morning or heading to the bus stop, it is probably going to be a little colder than it was this morning. Temperatures in the teens, in the low 20s, and I expect more of the same heading into Wednesday, although this first half of the week is dry. Thursday, we entertain the possibility of a few rain showers, and this establishes an active southern storm track, while at the same time, we actually start to get some colder air coming in from the north. Historically speaking, this is a more favorable pattern for wintry weather heading into the weekend. 5 to 6 days out, there's no use in trying to get into specifics. Just know it has our attention. So for today in the 40s, tomorrow having a hard time getting into the 40s. We'll succeed in doing so Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday ahead of that potential wintry mess heading into the weekend. Ken?
All right, what's happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center? We're seeing a little bit of a troubled spot on I-885 southbound right near the I-40 interchange. Just in the last minute or so, it actually cleared up, which is really good news when you really think about it this time of the morning. So we're not seeing any delays whatsoever on 885 going in and out of Durham this morning. As for other routes heading into Durham, short of a 1-minute delay if you're using Highway 98 to get from Wake Forest to Durham, that's all we've got because all the other routes are delay-free. Here's a live look right now at I-40 and Wade Avenue. These are the eastbound lanes coming toward us. The westbound lanes heading toward Durham. Traffic flowing in both directions at a nice steady clip. So in terms of widening out the view, give you a look at all the major routes coming in to the Raleigh, Wake County area. Just a 1-minute delay if you're coming in from Wake Forest, but all the other routes, I-87 coming in from Knightdale, I-40 West from the Garner-Johnston County area. You're coming in from Apex and US 1, even I-40 eastbound, no delays at this hour.
Okay, Ken, thank you. Measles in South Carolina, a major university, has confirmed a case as the state deals with an outbreak. The latest numbers as the virus spreads in the southeast. And pedestrian safety concerns, the problem that's prompting GM to recall 80,000 electric vehicles.
Stay safe with the latest WRAL Weather Alert Day info. Get up to the minute weather and traffic conditions when you get in your car. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM, in Durham 96.5 FM, and everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning. The time is 8:26. I'm Laura Levine. Here's meteorologist Chris Michaels with a look at this very chilly morning, Chris.
Very chilly, and it looks like it from Southern Pines, right? You got that heavy frost that's laying down there on the greens and especially in the shadows. Now, you can see some of that icy spot or some of those icy spots on some elevated surfaces. We'll talk about specifically where here in the next few seconds. Temperatures mainly 25 to 30 right now. Interstates mostly in good shape, but it's really those bridges that you have to watch out for in addition to places like sidewalks and driveways. In the meantime, heading into the afternoon, not too bad. Sunshine, breezy, highs in the mid to upper 40s.
And happening now, Chris, those interstates like this one are in good shape. I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road, those are the westbound lanes moving away from us this morning. Traffic moving at a nice steady clip on basically all of our major routes coming into the Raleigh, Wake County area. We're not seeing any delays whatsoever, so which is really good news. But I got to remind you of those elevated surfaces and bridges. If you're navigating them this morning, just be extremely careful. Just a 1-minute delay if you're coming in from Wake Forest at this hour.
Ken, thank you. Right now, we have video here from the WRAL breaking news tracker from around 1:30 this morning. Police say 2 cars were involved in a crash here. The road was closed, but now it is back open. Police say a person died because of a crash here on I-40 near US 1. And there are multiple events planned across our area today to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., including in Durham, where there will be a community march that starts at 10:30 at the Tower at Mutual Plaza. There will also be a religious service tonight at Orange Grove Missionary Baptist Church that starts at 6 p.m. Next on Fox 50, we're tracking the Walk for Peace as the group of Buddhist monks head towards Raleigh. And coming up on today, one-on-one with Reggie Miller on NBC's Sunday Night Basketball.
Road temperatures starting out in the 20s, meaning that we're monitoring some slick spots. We'll show you specifically where and the exact time that we expect things to improve coming up.
And Chris, some of those slick spots caused a lot of trouble this morning, including right here. This is I-85 North. You can see that vehicle fishtailing this morning. A number of crashes to report. I'm monitoring the troubled spots in the WRAL Traffic Center.
Plus, a deadly shooting. A person is dead and someone else is hurt after an early morning shooting in Fayetteville. We'll talk about what police are saying about what led up to this and honoring Dr. King. The event's happening for MLK Day and the Triangle and what you need to know before you head out to celebrate. Thanks so much for joining us this morning at 8:30 on WRAL News on Fox 50. I'm Chris Lovingood. The real big story weather-wise today, obviously, a WRAL Weather Alert Day, but there are those occasional patches of ice, Chris, that people could run into, and we've already seen them run into.
Yeah, you know, we saw that especially earlier in the morning. Now that the sun is rising, hopefully those become fewer and far between, but temperature's still in the 20s, so you got to watch out for those slick spots early on. You notice the frosty ground there in Zebulon, but plenty of sunshine, and temperatures currently running in the 20s. Most of us 24 or 25 degrees in and around the Triangle, Chapel Hill, down to 22. So with an air temperature and road temperatures like that, that's why you're starting to get some of those slick spots. So as Ken has been pointing out, our bridges, our sidewalks, driveways, things of that nature are a little bit slicker than maybe your main roads in your interstate. Heading into the afternoon, some improvement, plenty of sunshine, a little breezy, high temperatures in the upper 40s, and then a weak cold front moves through overnight. Not much moisture with it, in fact, hardly any. So good news there in terms of any kind of additional wintry weather. But yeah, Tuesday and Wednesday morning is going to be very cold at the bus stop. Temperatures in the 50s Thursday ahead of some rain. And that system is going to set the stage for more potential wintry weather heading into the weekend. I'll show you why that pattern is more favorable than what we saw yesterday. Coming up, Ken.
All right, Chris, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. We got first responders working a crash right now, not far from the station, actually. This is the Lake Wheeler and Centennial Parkway. That's the farmer's market right there. We're not picking up any delays in that particular area. This is a local route, albeit, but I'll keep an eye on it and let you know if it's going to affect your morning commute, if this is part of your morning commute this morning. Heading outside, give you a live look at I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road. Those are the westbound lanes moving away from us, and really traffic is flowing at a nice steady clip on all of our major routes heading into Raleigh, particularly. Right now, no delays whatsoever on I-40 eastbound, US 1 north and south, Wake Forest, Apex. If you're coming in from Nightdale, no delays whatsoever. Let's go ahead and get outside. We have Monica Casey and photographer Vinny Buckenfuco right there giving us an idea of what people can expect.
Hey, good morning, Ken. You can probably see the sun coming in through the window right now, which is some good news for the icy spots on the roads. We just took I-40 from Wake County all the way to Durham. We just got off onto Fayetteville Street here in Durham, and we did not have any trouble spots there. Earlier this morning, though, there were a lot of issues. A major crash shut down I-85 southbound for a while this morning. At least 3 cars were involved in that crash, and we saw cars fishtailing on I-85 northbound as well. We also went by another crash on 885 southbound where that road splits from 147. At least 1 car was damaged and a state trooper was at that scene. We did see a vehicle that looked to be a law enforcement car being towed away from there as well. So these icy issues are certainly widespread, and even though it might feel like it's warming up a little bit, it's still important to take it slow this morning.
Oh, Monica, such great advice because of all the crashes we've been seeing all morning long. So you mentioned Durham. Let's take a look at those major routes heading into Durham this morning. No delays whatsoever. I-40 westbound, you're coming in from 85. The only delay we're seeing in Durham right now is a 1-minute delay if you're using Highway 98 to get to Wake Forest into Durham. Of course, you're getting ready to head into the car. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
All right, this developing story we have been following overnight. Police say that a person died because of a crash on I-40 near US 1. What you're seeing is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker from around 1:30 this morning. Police say 2 cars were involved in that crash, and it's unclear, though, what led up to it. We're trying to get answers on that. At one point, the road was closed, but it has now since reopened. Over in Fayetteville, 1 person is dead and another is in the hospital because of a shooting. This is video from Tangora Lane near McDougal Drive. Police say they found 2 people suffering from gunshot wounds just after midnight, and 1 person was pronounced dead right there at that scene. The other person was taken to the hospital and they're expected to live. At last check, no arrests have been made, but police say there's no threat to the public. We are working to learn more about an investigation at a Fuquay Varina store. The WRAL breaking news tracker saw several police officers at the Walmart on East Broad Street near Judd Parkway. We have reached out to Fuquay Varina police to find out a little bit more about what happened and if anyone was injured. Today, to honor the life and legacy of Dr. King, there will be local events to honor him. Tonight, the Carolina Theater in Durham will host the screening of a documentary about him. The documentary focuses actually on the theater specifically. In 1963, it was a symbol of oppression with minorities relegated to the balcony, and so they protested, but in a new and unique way.
Demonstrators would line up at the ticket booth. They would ask for a ticket. they would be denied, and then they would go to the back of the line. Now, when you multiply this over hundreds of people, you have an effect where the theater is no longer making money because no one can get in line to get a ticket.
That one-day protest helped influence the civil rights movement nationwide, and the documentary is called Breaking the Booth. It's screening tonight, again at 5 p.m. at the theater, followed by a panel discussion. A Cary Teaching Farm is hosting a National Day of Service today for MLK Day. Good Hope Farm is inviting volunteers to come by and get their gardens ready for spring planting. There are 2 shifts that you can sign up for, 10 to 11 a.m. and noon to 2 p.m. The first shift, I should say, was delayed by an hour because of weather, but volunteers are asked to bring a non-perishable food item to donate to the local food pantry. But keep in mind, you must register to participate. The annual Martin Luther King Jr. Triangle Interfaith Breakfast is happening right now as you are looking live at these people that are sitting at these different tables. This specifically is happening at the Sheraton Imperial Hotel in RTP. WRAL and Capital Broadcasting are proud presenting sponsors. WRAL's Gerald Owens is hosting that event, and you can watch it in its entirety on WRAL.com. The Buddhist monks walking for peace will be in the Triangle later this week. Yesterday, they were in Lexington for a peace sharing talk, and they ate lunch at a local church. It marked the 85th day of their 2,300-mile journey. They're walking to promote national healing, unity, and compassion. Their walk for peace began in Texas and is ending in D.C. Last night, the Lexington Cambodian Community Center provided them with food as they met with people. Now, let's say you want to meet and greet these monks when they're here locally. Well, there are some suggestions on the Walk for Peace Facebook page. They suggest placing your palms together and bowing. You should also avoid physical contact such as a hug or a handshake unless the monk extends that invitation. If crowds begin to gather, you can move to the side of the road to leave a clear path for the monks. And yes, we will be keeping you informed of their route, their arrival times, and any public events, including locally. So keep up to date on WRAL.com and across our digital platforms. The Pentagon put some active duty troops on prepare to deploy orders in case President Trump sends them to Minnesota. This is coming from 2 U.S. officials. And this is happening as protesters gathered outside the Whipple Federal Building in Minneapolis over the weekend. This was to protest ICE. The federal facility is serving as the local headquarters for ICE. And last week, President Trump threatened to invoke the Insurrection Act. That's why the Pentagon told 1,500 troops to be ready to deploy at any moment. The human rights activist news agency reports at least 3,600 protesters have been killed in Iran in the last 3 weeks or so, specifically after anti-government demonstrations began. The latest deaths include 25 people who were under the age of 18. Over the weekend, Iran's supreme leader said the country, quote, defeated America. He also said President Trump personally encouraged the unrest and referred to him as a criminal. President Trump was also blamed for thousands of deaths and destruction. It looks like the battle over Greenland is intensifying as President Trump has threatened to impose 10% tariffs on goods for 8 European countries if they do not support his quest to acquire Greenland. The EU held an emergency meeting yesterday to talk about this. President Trump says Greenland is essential to U.S., its national security specifically. European leaders have criticized President Trump's actions, and that includes French President Emmanuel Macron, who said on social media, quote, we will ensure the European sovereignty is upheld, end quote. Lawmakers are exploring options to ease tensions on this issue, and they're considering writing a new war powers resolution regarding Greenland and looking at challenging the president's plan for new tariffs on European countries that do not support the move. Oh boy. Pretty epic finish in Chicago as the Bears and the Rams battled those cold temperatures at Soldier Field. The 2 sides got a little extra football, too, after Caleb Williams helped the Bears force an overtime there. Look at that. Found the end zone with less than 30 seconds to go. Rams got to work right after that, going on down the field there. Look at that. A field goal. That's how they won there. 20-17. That was the final. The Rams are headed to the NFC Championship game, so congrats to them. Though the Bears did fight hard this season. And the New England Patriots are headed to the AFC Championship game for the first time since 2019. The Patriots beat the Texans at home, and that was thanks to a pretty strong performance from former UNC quarterback Drake May. He threw 3 touchdowns in the 28-16 win. The conference championship games are now set. In the AFC, the Patriots will head to Denver on Sunday to play the Broncos. Kickoff for that game is set for 3 p.m. In the NFC, the Seahawks will be hosting the Rams in Seattle. Kickoff for that game is on Sunday at 6:30, and you can watch the game on Fox 50. And looks like the college football season will come to a close tonight. The Miami Hurricanes and the Indiana Hoosiers will play in the 2026 College Football Playoff Championship. The Hoosiers are undefeated and looking for their first title in program history. But Miami is looking for their first championship in 25 years. Tonight's game is at 7:30 p.m. And tonight it is an NBA on NBC triple header. First, it's the Oklahoma City Thunder taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's at 2:30 p.m. Then at 5, the Dallas Mavs will take on the New York Knicks. And then at 8, the Boston Celtics will play the Detroit Pistons. You can catch all the action over on WRAL. Your time is 8:41 this morning. Spain train crash. Dozens of people killed and even more were hurt after 2 trains collided. The investigation into that cause as the rescue efforts are happening. Plus, MLK Day in the Triangle. The different events that you can go to honor Dr. King today. And we want to go ahead and step outside and give you a live look over at White Lake on this WRAL Weather Alert Day. I promise this is it. Just a little foggy there. Rain and snow have left that area, but there are some slick spots out on the roads we're going to be telling you about. And meteorologist Chris Michaels will explain to you when things could improve.
8:45, current check of our temperatures, still well below freezing with temps in the Triangle in the mid-20s. Lewisburg and Goldsboro improving to about 30 degrees. Sunshine going to work there. Irwin's at 28, Fayetteville's at 29, Sanford's still down at 25, so it'll take about another hour or so before we see temperatures above freezing, but the sun is helping to at least melt some of the icy spots that we've had so far this morning. Midday, we're near 40. Heading into the afternoon, temperatures near 50 degrees, and again, a decent amount of sun. So it's just a cold start to the week, and that's something that's going to take us through tomorrow and through Wednesday, but it's a dry start to the week. By Thursday, rain chances start to rise, and that storm system sets the tone for the potential for more wintry weather heading into the weekend. I'll show you how that differs from what we saw yesterday coming up in a few minutes.
Chris, a busy morning on the roadways have given way to a rather quiet time so far. At this point, I-40 and Wade Avenue traffic flowing at a nice steady clip in both directions. And really, truly, that's indicative of what we're seeing on all the major routes coming into Raleigh this morning, short of a 1-minute delay both on I-87 southbound and US 1 southbound coming in from Wake Forest. All the other major routes are delay-free at this hour.
Tracking that for us, Ken. At least 39 people are dead because of multiple trains colliding in southern Spain. Investigators say one train derailed late yesterday and then ran into an oncoming train. A second train was forced off the tracks and then down an embankment. Around 75 passengers were hospitalized and at least 15 people are in serious condition in the hospital. The cause of that derailment still being investigated right now. Authorities say, though, it is a bit unusual for a derailment to happen on a bit of a section that was recently renovated. It's been 6 months since North Carolina was supposed to have a new budget, and our NC Capitol team reports it could still be months before lawmakers approve a spending plan. Now, we're not at risk of a government shutdown here in the state, but hundreds of thousands of state workers are going without promised raises because of this standoff. It also means no new aid for Helene from the state, and growing worries for the 3 million North Carolinians on Medicaid. That program could run out of money by March or April. This is also when state lawmakers plan to return to Raleigh. When they get back, they will have to address the cause of the stalemate, what exactly will be the focus for lawmakers in 2026, and other topics. You can find answers to this information in our full report at the NC Capitol section of WRAL.com. Americans that may have defaulted on student loans are catching a temporary break from the federal government. The U.S. Department of Education said Friday it is putting on hold plans to seize tax refunds or even garnish wages of the people whose loans are in default. The department says it's going to revise payments regulations in order to align with the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. And the hope is to help student loan holders resume on-time payments and have more clear and affordable options there. Thousands of new electric vehicles produced by Chevy are being recalled, and this is because of pedestrian sound issues. 80,000 electric Chevy Equinox vehicles made in 2025 and 2026 are included in the recall. The parent company, General Motors, says the pedestrian alert systems may have been set up incorrectly, and that means they won't produce sound loud enough from 0 to about 6 miles per hour. GM says that you can either update that software yourself or bring it into a dealership to be updated. All right, music icon Dolly Parton is 80 years old today. Her music career began nearly 7 decades ago, and she's known for her success in country music, acting, and is a cultural icon. To celebrate, though, She is going to release, actually she has released a new version of her classic song, Light of a Clear Blue Morning. The song features Lainey Wilson, her goddaughter Miley Cyrus, Queen Latifah, and Reba McEntire. The net proceeds from that release will go to pediatric cancer research. Marty Supreme is breaking records for the Studio A24 in its films, and J.J. Abrams is leaping back into sci-fi. Here's David Daniel with today's Hollywood Minute.
How do you live?
Well, I live with the confidence if I believe in myself, the money will follow.
The money has followed for Marty Supreme. The drama starring Timothée Chalamet has topped $80 million at the domestic box office, the best ever for a film released by A24. The previous record holder, Oscar Best Picture winner Everything Everywhere All at Once with $77 million.
Bad Robot, which is our production company, we're working on a number of projects.
J.J. Abrams is jumping back into sci-fi. Warner Brothers has slated the writer-director's film The Great Beyond to launch in IMAX theaters November 13th. Emma Mackey, Glenn Powell, Jenna Ortega, and Samuel L. Jackson lead the cast.
I can't work with him. We can't really talk.
Sentimental value dominated the 38th European Film Awards. The drama from Norwegian filmmaker Joachim Trier won 6 awards, including Best Film, Director, Actor for Stellan Skarsgård, and Actress for Renate Reinsve. The awards website Gold Derby has Skarsgård and Reinsve among the favorites for Oscar nominations. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Very talented family. All right, volunteers will be out across the triangle for MLK Day today. The nonprofit Rise Against Hunger will be honoring Martin Luther King Jr. Day by packaging meals for people who are facing food insecurity. The organization aims to package more than 190,000 meals across 2 different locations. The events will be at the Marbles Kids Museum and the Rise Against Hunger Warehouse Raleigh. Both of these events will be from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. And for a full list of MLK Day events, you can go to WRAL.com, including this one, Book Harvest in Durham. It's hosting their 15th annual Big Book Drive and Community Celebration. The event runs from 1 to 4 at Boxyard and RTP. You are invited to donate new or gently used children's book or stop on by and enjoy the celebration. All right, weather-wise, we've been talking about it this morning, Chris. I mean, we're talking about the icy conditions on some roads there. We saw that snow mix yesterday, but things are kind of starting to get better for us.
Yeah, starting to, yeah, especially with the sunshine. It was just cool to see yesterday to look outside and at least have the snow falling for a little bit. So we got 4 different vantage points for you in Roxborough, Chapel Hill, outside at the Azalea Gardens. And, you know, the great thing about it yesterday is that, yeah, it snowed, but it didn't collect on the roads. It was just wet on the roads. Now we're starting to see road temperatures slowly climb. This is better than what it was earlier in the morning. So main roads are good. You really just got to watch out for the bridges, the off and on ramps, and especially some shaded spots now. But as we go beyond 10 a.m., temperatures will climb above freezing. We'll drop below freezing overnight once again. However, it is going to be drier out the door tomorrow morning. It's just going to be really cold. That's going to be a rude awakening heading back to the school bus. Tuesday and Wednesday mornings in the teens and low 20s. By Thursday morning, temperatures will climb back into the 30s ahead of this storm system. So this one's going to be fairly weak in nature. Maybe it gives us a few showers on Thursday. Chances look to be pretty isolated for us. But at the same time, colder air starts to spill in from the north. So this becomes a little bit of a more favorable pattern for winter weather heading into Saturday, potentially into Sunday. Now, as far as details, it's 5 to 6 days out, so we're just going to leave those for a little bit. But the pattern at least looks favorable for some winter weather odds and potentially more impactful than what we saw out there yesterday. So we'll keep tabs on that. In the meantime, plenty of sunshine in Lewisburg. Again, watch out some of these shady spots you see there and some of those bridges as they stay colder for a little longer. But again, beyond 10 a.m., things are in great shape. Sunny with a temperature of about 40 at lunchtime. Highs today near 50 degrees. So overall, not a bad day, just a little breezy at times and cold. Tomorrow's colder, temperatures near 40 for a high, back to near 50 Wednesday afternoon, likely in the 50s Thursday afternoon as we track a few of those showers, and then the weekend forecast, of course, subject to change as we get hopefully some better data by mid to late week. Chris?
Thanks, Chris. We know you'll be checking on that for us. And hey, before we go to break, we do have a look at your winning NC Education lottery numbers. Plus, we'll get you another check on traffic coming up in just a second.